Check, check.
We're coming out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Lights, please. This evening, I'd like to introduce to you a major star, straight from the mining ship Red Dwarf. I'd like to introduce you to Crichton. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Llewellyn.
Thank you. Very kind of you, very kind of you. Just going to make a quick announcement. This is just to tell you that Gareth Thomas will be signing autographs at 6:45 in room D12. That's just so that you know. But we don't want you to go there because we want you to stay here. So, I now want to introduce you to what is known in theatrical and artistic and TV circles as a major diva. Not just an actor, not just a personality, but a diva. A person whose reputation spreads before him like a stain. For thousands of miles. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Craig Charles.
He makes me laugh. Oh, he makes American cactus plants.
We're just getting this out of our systems, then we'll become slightly more mature in a few minutes.
That's it then.
Now we're finished.
The angst is out of the way.
Okay, so what we're going to hope you do is ask questions, and when you ask questions, can you go to the microphone so that we can all hear you? See, this finger is a very mature finger and it's pointing in a microphone type direction.
It's very giving, caring.
So what we want to do is try and form some kind of group here and try and grow as individuals, as a unit. Because what we're trying to do is like, actually, this is a good thing that you put it back in. Look, you listen to this. Listen.
Give you my dental bill, guy.
So we're going to try and balance the group
next to tell you. Sorry, Robert, you're being serious.
Yeah, and then we're going to have a group hug.
Yeah, a group hug, and then we're going to Robert's for a party.
And we're all going to my room, which is, and I've got a lot of baby oil in there. We're just going to.
And we've got like large vibrators. In fact, these with Panasonic written down the side. It's going to be good. We've got a skin diving suit with the bottom cut out. Robert's going to break the ramp in wildebeest. And we're going to be rocking.
So, has anybody got a deeply serious and moving emotional question that will move us? Ah, yes, we have got a question coming up. Jolly good.
Yeah,
Great. Try and
hello?
question.
Yes, I've got a deeply serious question. From the show, hello? From Body Swap.
Yeah.
I loved watching that. I loved how you guys were able to get each other's characters down, but I was disappointed you didn't go all the way and try to do each other's characters' voices.
Oh, God.
Why should a mind swap with the voice box? I mean, that's
Cruel, you cruel person. Chris could have actually done my voice, nearly anyway, because Chris is like a professional impressionist. However, me being Chris Barrett, it's kind of very difficult, you know. So I kind of like doing it as a dubbing thing because we look like we were in some spaghetti western. It'd be, oh hey Rimmer, don't do that. Who the smack are you looking at? I like it when our lips are moving and nothing was coming out. Because normally my lips are moving, no sense comes out. So I kind of felt at home. Mad Dog! Sorry, it's a little throw over from last night. I don't know if you were partying with us last night, but some of us were. And making a little bit of noise. Sorry. I just like to take this moment to apologise for last night and all the things I said. Only joking.
So,
Any more? Sorry, Robert. Any more questions? Any more questions?
I drank a lot of water last night, in case anybody was wondering.
You did, man. This man has got no chance ever of being dehydrated.
Any other questions? Oh, good question there.
A question.
Yes, I'm
Right. Okay. We'll imagine. Oh, that's it. Yeah.
We can see you now.
One of the limiting factors of not being able to see Red Dwarf is that it's only shown here on public broadcasting stations. My public broadcasting station doesn't pick it up. Is there any reason contractually why it couldn't be marketed through A&E or Discovery or Nick at Night or one of the other networks?
I've been told that A&E would cut it to pieces and butcher it. I've been told. I don't know if that's kind of true. I think we just sold it to the people who bought it, didn't we?
I think what one of the problems is that the BBC, it's an independent production for the BBC. It's made by a small company who are hired by the BBC to make it, which is the producers. And programs like Blackadder, which are made by the BBC, are really pushed hard by the corporation and all the boys that run it.
We weren't even in the BBC. We weren't even in the BBC's A to Z of comedy. They had this program called the A to Z of comedy. Red Dwarf, which is #1 on the channel on BBC Two, it's the most watched show. Wasn't even included in the BBC's A to Z of comedy. They don't push us very much simply because we're made by Grant Naylor Productions rather than by any in-house BBC kind of staff. I don't know if that's got anything to do with the selling of maybe the Grant Naylor having that.
From what I heard last night, I was talking to somebody last night about it, and it sounded like it was very much to do with it. It was that the other combined factor in Great Britain is that none of the people who make Red Dwarf went to Oxford or Cambridge University.
Not at all.
It's rather an essential ingredient in comedy. I mean, we've all tried to have our chins removed.
Yes.
But it hasn't really done us a lot of good yet, has it, Greg?
I'm having my voice surgically changed, you know. It's going to go down a few octaves and be absolutely marvellous. Hello, you're all loves. I love you dearly. Yeah, so there's a lot of problems actually, a lot of kind of political machinations behind the scenes that maybe me and Robert aren't so aware of. That lend it to being on PBS and lend it not to being so well supported by the BBC. Because I am the acceptable face of the BBC, as I'm sure you all know.
We're working on it as well. We're going to be going back there. We're really going to get quite cross, I think.
Yes, we're going to organise a leaflet campaign, you know. If that doesn't work, then, you know.
We'll salt the We'll do something. Any other questions? Yes, oh good.
Are you surprised at all by your popularity here in the States? Is it something you expected? Were you surprised?
Well, it wasn't certainly not when I started. I mean, I'm sure I didn't.
Well, we was kind of surprised it took us so long, really. No, I mean, no, it's like when we first started off in Red Dwarf in England, on Red Dwarf 1, we only got like kind of less than 1 million viewers, you know? And when we were making it, we thought, this is funny, man. There was a really good team together. We were involved in the Young Ones and Saturday Night Live, and a really vibrant, kind of happening kind of team. And we all thought it was it. We'd done it. We're making this first series. It's it, man. Just go laughing all the way to the bank. And we were kind of surprised it took so long to catch on, in a way. But in America, yeah, nothing surprises me more than you crazy bastards. You know, it's great, but it's pretty sick.
That's why we're so happy here.
Yeah, we've been having a great time. Yeah, it is surprising that it's become so popular. I mean, I thought people wouldn't be able to understand the word I said for a start, and Universal Studios told me that was the case as well. What? What are you saying? Universal. So yeah, it's surprising. Are you surprised? Oh, very.
I'm very surprised. No, I was surprised. Yeah, I think it's good that it's travel. I'm very happy that it has.
It's now the BBC's most successful export, by the way. It's the most exported television comedy from England. Yeah. Just thought I'd share that with you. The smell of success.
Any questions? Oh yeah, there's one.
For you, Robert, how do you like having a square head?
It's hot. It's smelly. It's like having someone else's flannel around your head all day in a sauna. But I like what it looks. I like looking at it from when I haven't got it on.
Robert, he wasn't talking about the mask.
Yeah, it's good having a square head, yeah. I've got these special lobes in my brain here and here that a lot of people don't have. They're really nice.
Marvelous.
Good American accent too, by the way. Was that your idea? That robots should talk with an unctuous American accent?
Yeah, it was, it was my idea, but it was like, it came out of a long discussion about, we sort of went all around the world, sort of trying to find one that worked. That's very kind of you to say that. When I hear it now, it sounds, I can hear all sorts of flat vowels and things that don't quite work, but to me, I don't know, I'm sure, yeah, well, thank you. I tried to convince someone yesterday that I was from Omaha. I wasn't from England, and it lasted about a sentence and a half, and then he saw through it.
However, I thought Robert's accent was supposed to be Canadian.
Well, it is supposed to be. Yeah, it was my idea of Canadian, really, more than it was, there's this guy in England that I don't know, he's a Canadian guy, called, Craig, you've got a memory?
Like the shape?
No, the presenter with the glasses. Canadian guy, what's his name?
One with the glasses?
Yeah.
Canadian guy.
Canadian guy.
Presenter.
Well, he's got a, he says, he does a...
Never heard of him.
Yeah, he goes like that, just roll over.
Oh, the guy does through the keyhole.
That's right, through the keyhole.
Yeah, don't know, never seen it.
Yeah, but there's this Canadian guy who almost, I think he puts it on because he knows it works, and he goes, hello, this evening we're going to go through the keyhole. And then he sort of, he does. He does. No, he does for real. He's an influence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Question.
Hi, over here.
Hi.
Today was the first time I got to see the show and actually be able to see the picture and hear the words. So my question is, what are the words to the theme song?
It's cold outside, there's no kind of atmosphere, I'm all alone, more or less. I want to fly far away from here. Fun, 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 dum, 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 in the sun, sun, sun. I want to lie shipwrecked and comatose, drinking fresh mango juice. Goldfish shoals snapping at my toes. Fun, 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 dum, 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 in the sun, sun, sun. Dum, 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 dum. Hard to pass off as entertainment, surely.
You've probably been asked this question, but have you actually done the 6th season of Red Dwarf as it is they can, or?
We're about to start filming it. We start filming it in February.
Yeah.
And
February, second time. Remember that song?
Is there any specific time of broadcast in the United Kingdom, or?
It goes out at 9 o'clock.
You mean month, sort of thing, when it started?
Month.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to start in March. The first one about sort of late March, I guess. When
I didn't know that, man. They keep me in the dark, I'm a mushroom. They keep me in the dark, up the door, I'm covering up bullshit all over me.
It's a mushroom corporate structure that we work in, isn't it? Like mushrooms are growing, they're kept in the dark and they chuck shit on us every now and then.
That's what's happened.
Yeah. It's totally heavy and we get really bummed out and an emotional one.
Yeah, man, they don't trust us because we take so many drugs. They never keep frictions anyhow.
Who's first?
Questions?
Yeah, okay. Who's first?
Robert, didn't you forget one theme lyric in that song? I have it on tape at home and it says, I'll do anything to drive Rimmer nuts.
Is that
Oh yeah.
in the song?
It was in it once, but after that they cut it out.
Really? Wow. Do anything to drive
Rimmer nut in the song?
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh yeah.
Nah.
It says, lying on the beach enjoying goldfish snapping at my toes. It says, anything just to drive Rimmer nuts. It was in one episode and one only. After that they dropped it.
Wow. Well, it's amazing what I've learned so much since I come here. I learned something last night, which was
keep that to yourself.
Yeah. I just never knew. I got a lot of pain in my lower back this morning, but no.
He's tried 3 positions in the Kama Sutra, and all of them successfully. Unfortunately, with no one ever else present.
I won't tell you what I learned last night. Yeah.
This one's sort of along the same lines, and to Robert, do you have any vices, and would you like to get any?
Thank you. There's an Adamant song that I really related to, which was don't drink, don't smoke, what do you do? Goody two-shoes! Goody two-shoes, thank you. Subtle innuendo that there must be something inside. I always related to that because I don't drink or smoke. Mind you, I did have an Irish whiskey last night, but then I fell over. Fell flat on my face afterwards. What vices did I like? I like really sort of kinky, oil-based sexual ones, I think. It's really, you know, anything in that realm. I quite like sort of oil and kinky shit, weird stuff.
Yeah. He always wants to be the front end of a pantomime horse. That presses my buttons. It's just comedy. Has anyone got a cigarette?
There's a question here.
Yes, you've probably been asked this question before, but I'm trying to find out, do you guys pull any type of pranks on Hattie, with her being the only lady on the show?
No, we're really ashamed. We should have done.
No, we should have done, yeah. No, we don't. We try to be very supportive and male.
We're terribly. We're considered one of the most right-on, politically correct casts in the country. No, but Hattie's really good. She's Hattie's a very dignified woman, and that doesn't. What did we say to Hattie? No, I don't remember. Maybe we're not being rude to her.
No, we don't really be rude to it. Everyone is too busy trying to get the turkey nailed. You know, we're just trying to do the show, really. All that kind of. It used to be a lot more when we went to Manchester, actually, because we used to go to Manchester to film it, and we'd stay in this hotel. Yeah, and it was a nightmare.
A bottle of oil.
We were barred from every hotel in the whole of Manchester. You know, in the end, there was nowhere we could actually stay to film the shoot. You know, so we used to do a lot of practical jokes then. Sorry, but now it's kind of we film in Shepperton, and then we all go home and lay our lives and go to sleep. Robin does. No, we did, because it's a really heavy schedule once we're there, because we film it all in a 7-week period. So it's not a lot of time off, you know, not a lot of time for fun and frivolity, unfortunately. We do when we break down, though, when the scenes break down.
Oh yeah, that's when we have fun. Because there's this thing, there's a microphone that comes in and gets in the way all the time.
It's a boom mic.
A boom mic, and it's always in the shot, and we start singing.
I'm being followed by a boom shadow, boom shadow, boom shadow. We got the dance routine.
All 4 of us standing there. We do it about 106 times every recording.
Yeah.
And the poor guy's operating the booms.
I'm sorry.
Is there a question coming up with that?
A question.
Have they given any thought to a last episode, or is there anything you guys might like to do or see in the last episode?
I've always had my idea that it should have been it was going to be a video game, but we did that in Back to Reality and tricked everybody. I don't know about a last episode really. It's probably going to be that it's just like a normal episode, you know, and see, the show's unlikely to break down once it's in production, you know. It's a case of it only break down in between productions once contracts and things like that couldn't be kind of ironed out. So the last show will probably be just like a normal show, you know. As I say, when you're in production, you never break down, do you? It's not like it's a case of once the production's finished and they're trying to organise, Red Dwarf 7, and we have kind of contractual demands that are not met or something. Then I suppose you know they can always do Red Dwarf the parallel universe though with a different cast.
I'd like them to blow Crichton's head off and then give him a new head that didn't have any square bits. Just some round bits, really.
He's such a crybaby over those 7 weeks. Those whinging he is. I'm going to put the mask on again. Mash.
We'll get back in.
Craig, you just mentioned that it takes 7 weeks to film the series. How many episodes do you do in that 7-week period?
We do 6 episodes.
6 episodes. Is that a typical British series?
Actually, it's not. I mean, a typical BBC series would be like 11 weeks for the 6 episodes. That's what we used to do in Red Dwarf before it became a Grant Nail production. We started trying to cut all these corners. It's a case of, it would be about 11 weeks normally on a television series. But like we do, 7 weeks. So it's kind of 10 till 10 experience, you know? From 10 in the morning till 10 at night.
But most comedy series in Britain are 6 episodes. I mean, the drama series might be longer than that, but most of the comedy series, especially on BBC Two or Channel 4, are 6.
Yeah. It's just like 3 hours.
Something like game shows and things like that might be longer. Like they might do. Sometimes they do 6 or 13.
Yeah.
They don't do 12. I don't know why. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi guys. Hi.
Hi Dan.
Hi Greg. Getting a lot of communication going here. It's quite warm.
It's quite warm. Giving. Share a group. My name's Dan and I'm an alcoholic.
No, actually I'm a dwarfaholic. This is the first chance I've had to attend one of these panels, so I don't know if this question has been asked before. One, for Robert, how long does it take you to get into the Crichton outfit? 2, what does the cast do in between filming the seasons? And that's about it.
All right. Well, it takes me about 3 hours, 3.5 hours altogether. 2.5 hours for the mask. 2.5 to 3 hours for the mask, and then it takes about half an hour to put the costume on, because it's sort of lots of different pieces. So, and while I'm doing that, Craig's sort of bored and putting up with me whinging. Oh, Craig, I've got to put the costume on again. And then between the seasons, we just wander the streets. You know, I do a bit of sort of flashing.
He oils his body up and goes out and terrorises unsuspecting females. What do you do?
Well, I
write books.
I write books and write, and sit in a little cottage in the Cotswolds and write, and dig my garden.
But he's not pretentious at all.
I'm not at all pretentious. And, well, actually, I mix with my sort of people.
Yes, very good.
Gloucestershire has got 250,000 people and only 7 chins. How do you do, Robbie?
Oh, marvellous. I kind of do TV series, a thing called Cyberzone, which we just finished. I think a Screen One called Ghostwatch, which had 125,000 complaints. That was rocking. It really was good. And I've got a series going out at the moment on BBC One at 6:10 on Sundays. Oh, thank you.
Wow.
So I do that. Robert writes books and appears in television things.
Another show I do is called Bottom.
Yes.
Which is one of the smuttiest, rudest, most violent slapstick shows that the BBC has ever produced. That's with 2 of the guys who used to be in the Young Ones, Rick Mail and Ed Edmondson. So I've done some of that. And Smith and Jones have been.
Smith and Jones.
Smith and Jonesy bits and I can't remember. Lots of other bits and pieces. I've got to tell you about that. I did a comedy lecture called The Reconstructed Heart, which was on this year. It's been on a couple of times. Which was a spoof, like send-up academic lecture about boys and sex and oil. It's a guide for women to choose terribly right-on and politically correct men like Craig and me.
Why are you laughing? We are completely right on.
Is there a question?
Yeah, for those of us in the audience who haven't seen Demons and Angels, can you guys do the low Crichton and the low Lister for us?
What was that? I can't remember any of the lines.
Yes.
Well, you didn't have much to say. You just
No, we didn't have much to say.
We both had kind of pseudo-American accents. The ones who lust after mean English sex. Stick it in his ear.
All I remember is it gave me a headache. That's really all I remember.
I actually hit you on the head with a hammer in that.
That's right.
It wasn't a stunt hammer either, it was a real hammer.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. That hurt. I remember that. There was another time when that's in the same episode, when I had to punch my way through a wall. Oh, do you remember that? Jesus. This man's head, I'll tell you, man. We had to punch my way through a wall to strangle Craig from behind. He was like supposed to be hiding, and then my fists were going to appear and strangle him. And they marked on the wall, because I couldn't see him, where to punch, you know, so it was like there and there, two little crosses. And it was just a plastic sheet, you know, that would explode when I hit it. So I was there and I had to punch both fists through. So we did it in action. And my fist hit what felt like a cast iron drain pipe. But actually it was the back of Craig's head. It really hurt my hand. I had a really badly bruised fist. Craig just went flying.
Smacked your hand, man. My head was like, you know, Robert hit me! I had to go and lie down in my Winnebago for a whole afternoon. So it gave me such a bad headache afterwards. It didn't have hit me.
That's about, in fact, out of all the crazy things we've done, that's about the only kind of accident we've had, isn't it? I mean, which is accident I've had. You've had hundreds. Yeah, he's all his own stunts.
I can't do a lot of stunt kind of stuff, which sometimes ends in tears. Always mine. I hit myself quite a lot during the film of Red Dwarf. A lot of bruises and bumps and scrapes. So I still live, you know. Hey, I broke my shin.
So proud of this.
Came off my motorbike. Broke my shin. There's an actual hole in my shin now. Say hello, Ho.
Is it a question?
I'm wondering about the actual production of the show. Do you do a lot of stuff in front of blue screen? And do you do much on-location shooting outside of the studio, or is most of it done in the studio environment?
Well, we used to do a lot of on-the-location filming outside the studio, but you can always tell it was a park somewhere near Shepperton that you were actually filming in, so we kind of tried on the last series to do a lot of studio setups, a bit like the original Star Trek would do, only like more up to date, of course. So we'd sort of stay in the studio and do kind of like the one where Crichton sends his hand off to get help. Do you remember that? Yeah. Well, that was like a set in the studio. It was a great set, really. It looked great. But that was an actual set built in the studio, you know, which made it look like we'd arrived on this pretty eerie planet. But if we're going to go outside now, we generally like to go outside during the night when you can't see aeroplanes flying past, like, you know, Robin Reliant beating their horns. They move out of the way, you know.
Double-decker buses.
Double-decker buses in the background, yeah.
And we only do 1 week's pre-recording as well, actually, but the rest of it's taken up with somebody else. There's a question there.
We all know from Doctor Who that the BBC didn't exactly get behind them and support them, which is why they're now down the tubes. Does the BBC support Red Dwarf?
Well, Red Dwarf being the most... See, the thing about Doctor Who was, it wasn't very well watched in England, you know? We kind of started to do Red Dwarf in a way as a piss taker, Doctor Who, really.
Dangerous thing to say.
Yeah, but it's true. You think it, I'll say it. All right. Okay. So, it wasn't very well watched. Red Dwarf is like, we're the #1 rated show on the channel, you see, so. Although it's not well supported by the BBC, they have to tolerate us. Because they realised, see, the thing was, when Robin Dunn took Red Dwarf to BBC London, the London people said, it's not going to work, they said, it's not going to work. There's no French windows or sofas. What you've got to do is start off on a sofa, pull out of the sofa through these French windows, and then you see you're on a spaceship. And Robin Dunn went, well, you don't have French windows and sofas in space. And he said, well, that's why it won't work, see. So then Robin Dunn went to BBC Manchester, and they loved it and hooked up on it. But now they've become so popular, BBC London have been trying to poach us to make it in London. And BBC North West have been trying to say, well, look, it's our baby. So as a kind of compromise, we make it in Shepperton. With a lot of...
it's in the middle of nowhere.
It's just in the middle of nowhere, and we make it with a lot of staff from the North West and from London, so... Yeah. It's kind of weird, but it's a more popular programme than Doctor Who was in England. So, they tolerate us.
Look, I met the boss of the Light Entertainment Department at the BBC, who is... I can't remember his name. Jonathan Powell at a party. And I was with one of the guys who writes Blackadder, a guy called Ben Elton, who's a stand-up comic. And he said to this man, Jonathan, this is Robert Llewellyn who plays Crichton in Red Dwarf. And this man just looked at me and went, and walked away. And I think that will give you some idea of the response of the BBC hierarchy to the programme. It's very interesting. And,
they look at us as though, I've had meetings with Jonathan Powell and how many episodes, and they kind of look at you as though you just passed wind.
It's sort of like that. They go, oh, it's a very popular show, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Has it got any opera in it? No.
I like the opera.
We prefer the opera. Yeah, but anyway, no, that's just us being bitter and twisted, but it's all based on fact as well. Is there another question coming there? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, Robert, thanks for the clip on the American Red Dwarf. What are the chances of seeing a Red Dwarf blooper reel?
Oh, yeah. Well, I wish we could get one. I mean, we had lots of fun with bloopers.
It'd be dangerous.
It's a lot of expletives in it.
It'd be X-rated. Chris loses his temper an awful lot when he gets his lines wrong. So he goes fucking ape shit, and then this guy just mugs to the camera. You know, he gets his line wrong and then starts going, oh, cack me pants. Of course, I never get my lines wrong. So. There's a lot of good bloopers around. There's actually what I was telling people before. There's me and Danny on the beach. It was from Better Than Life. Me and Danny are on the beach, and the shot's from the top of this cliff. So it was like me and Danny about that big, like in frame, like, you know, the vast expanse of where we are. And I've got to go to Danny. I said to Danny, "It's good here, isn't it?" And Danny moves away a bit, and so I go, "It's good here." And Danny goes, "You're pushing me out of the shot, guy. You're pushing me out of the shot." And it's hilarious to watch because, like, you know, it's shot from a cliff, and we're about that big, you know. It's like, "You're pushing me out of the shot, guy." But there's some classics.
I mean, we don't know where they go. I mean, for instance, like at the end of last year's series, Craig pulled my mask off right in front of the camera. He got hold of the nose and he just pulled and pulled and pulled. And it came out to like this far out, didn't it? Before it snapped. I mean, I've never seen that. I don't know what that... It must look amazing.
It looked hilarious.
And they were taking it. And eventually it went pop and it came off and there was my sort of sad little face.
I was actually hoping that it would have just snapped back, you know.
But we do lots of stuff like that. So I mean, they must have got takes of it. I don't know where it goes. I mean, it's
yeah, I don't know where it goes.
We'll have to investigate. Your question?
Yeah, this is for Craig. You do a hilarious bit called Snot Rap. And I was wondering if that was ever going to be recorded anywhere.
We actually did record it and tried to release it, but the record company went bust. So
this was too big.
Yeah, so it's unreleased. But I'm doing an album sometime next year with a label called Acid Jazz in England, so it might make it onto that. This is a really crude, vacuous piece of drivel, by the way. Yeah. Snot rap. Kind of goes. I've got an affliction. I got a disease. The snot won't stop. The sneeze won't ease. I've got a problem. Snot rap. I got a problem. It's snot rap. I go to the shops. I go to the shows. The snot keeps dripping out of everybody's nose. I got a problem. Snot rap. I got a problem. It's snot rap. I want you all in the video. So yeah, hopefully we're going to release it sometime next year along with a load of other stuff we've done. But we've tried to create a thing called the hippie hop. It's like crossing hippie music with hip hop music, you know. We've got people doing break yoga. That's where they kind of where they spin the backs and come up the lotus and things like that, you know. Yeah. All very, very sad.
There's a question coming up, I can feel it. There's a question building.
It's building. He's building up.
Robert, for some reason I think as we're playing a robot with the sci-fi series thing, you must get some weird female fan mail. Are you willing to share some of that?
My nipple nuts have given many women much pleasure.
Is that the best you can do?
And I think that my problem is downstairs. In the downstairs department, where I've only got plastic underpants and a trademark.
It's unfortunate. But the thing is, you see, people are now actually, you know, because Crichton is the actual shape of a large vibrator, and people are actually making like a vibrator the shape of Crichton now. Just to say it 2 batteries and sit on the washing machine.
No, strangely enough, it's I don't get a lot. No, I think.
So who gets the most on the show in terms of fan mail?
I don't know.
No, we haven't counted you.
You mean gets the most letters? I think.
I know who gets the most. I'm sure we haven't counted. It's not that competitive, really. You know?
We don't actually count them up. I'm 16 this week.
I think we all get quite a reasonable number, though. You know, it's not a case of I get more than you, therefore I'm better. You know, it's just.
We've got 2 fans that come to every single recording, who are secretly known behind their back as the girlfriends from hell. But they're very nice, they're very sweet.
But they kind of come everywhere. And I do a morning show in London at the moment on radio, the Craig Charles Breakfast Show. And sometimes they're outside waiting for me. The girlfriends from hell.
They're always just whenever you don't expect to see them, you know, you're sort of doing your flight and kind of, hi. They're always there, they're in the corridor.
You know, that's it.
They collect things like because I can only drink when I've got the mask on. I can't.
They collect cigarette butts.
They collect Craig's cigarette butts, and they collect my straws that I use to drink out of a bottle. You know, so they've got huge collections of straws and
cigarette butts.
Yeah.
It's all
paper clips as well. Don't they collect paper clips?
That's another people. Some people wanted us to send them our own individual paper clips, and they collect paper clips and hair clips from people.
I just remembered I've had one deeply kinky letter, but it was from a man. But he wanted to know what I wore underneath the costume, and he wanted to know if I could send him any used items of underclothing.
That was me. I sent that letter.
So I think that was the nearest I got tonight. Is there any more questions coming up?
Don't be shy.
Your personal favorite episodes? Right here. Yo! Your personal favorite episodes?
What about yours?
My personal favourite moment of humour and just amazing sort of, hysterical response was Polymorph, when I was pulling Craig's shorts off. Because it's like that thing where we'd rehearsed it 20 times, you know, and we'd so we knew what we'd do.
I must say, I enjoyed it tremendously.
You'll bonk anything, listener.
It's the actual. We rehearsed it about 20 times, and it was really tight. The whole scene went to pot on the night because the audience were making. We filmed it for a live audience. The audience were making so much noise. I was shouting my lines to him, and he couldn't hear me. And we're like, we're doing so much.
We actually had to stop because we couldn't hear ourselves think. The noise was just, it was painful. And I've got a quarter of a pound of rubber over my ears, you know. I was still getting there. It was extraordinary.
So that was a good scene. It breaks down in scenes to me. I love the scene with that scene with me and Robert. I love the me and Robert scene where we did the double Polaroid scene. And I love me and Robert. I mean, we kind of like working together. We do kind of some good scenes together. I love doing that smack. Do that for me. No.
He's a smee. He's a smee. He's a smee.
And I kind of like doing the scene with the cat when we did the Wilma Flintstone scene. I thought that was just a major piece of comedy writing, you know. But I like some of the scenes that me and Crichton do can be not funny sometimes. We can just like take the edge out and sort of like talk about kind of issues. I mean, There's a scene in The Inquisitor where we're kind of padlocked together and I'm telling him it's all my fault that he's going to die because I broke his program and gave him my life and all this kind of stuff. Make me cat me pants. No, it was, so we can get some kind of good emotional scenes with me and Craig. What about favourite scenes for you anymore? Actually, my band wrote a piece of music called Bad News, and Crichton danced to it in one episode. That's right. In time slides, which was quite good. He's like developing the films. Yeah. He's dancing away. Crichton goes a boogie.
Any other questions?
We have many things to share with you. This is the voice of the Mr. Runs. We know you can hear us. Did you ever get Captain Scarlet over here? It's one of my favourites, Captain Scarlet and the Thunderbirds.
Any more questions?
Actually, I have a question for you. In Stasis League, Lister actually gets Christine Kachanski in 5 years' time. Are you going to hold true to that?
In your dreams. Yeah, I'll be going down the gym every day in the hope. I don't know what's happened at Kachanski actually. Last year, I'm going to share this with you. My frustration. Last year, the dead guy, remember, got laid twice. I didn't get a peck on the cheek. I'm the only being left alive, and I never do any good when it comes to the girls in the shop. It's always Crichton got himself a little mechanoid girlfriend, which is all very cute and lovely, and Camille. But no, I don't know about Christine Kachanski actually. I think there was problems with the actress that was used, Claire Grogan. I don't know who took the decision that she wasn't any good or something, but she wasn't invited back, which was a bit of a pity because that storyline then suffers unless you're going to replace it with a completely different Christine Kachanski. So we will have to wait and see on that. It'd be great to continue the love affair across time, space, and what is it? Time, space, and reality. Yeah. It'd be good, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't fancy having to grow that beard though.
The other question I have is, how do you feel about the American version of Red Dwarf? Do you think it's a compliment or just a cheap imitation?
How do I feel?
Yeah.
I feel really pissed off about it. You know, I thought it was like, there was all that went on, and I think it was like kind of really disrespectful and arrogant that the Americans could think they could make one better than the one we got. Plus I thought, oh God, it's going to cut down on my overseas sales an awful lot, So it was all that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't understand why Robert did it. It's a great opportunity, But I think it could have been handled an awful lot better. And what really pisses me off as well is the only guy apart from Robert in the show that I liked was the guy who played my part. Yeah, so I couldn't even not like him because I thought he was quite good at it. But I think it was ill-advised and foolhardy to go the way they went, really. But the thing is, it's got such a... See, I think what the guys fail to realise about Naylor is that although they are a very large part of the show, another awful large part of the show is the way that people like me and Robert and me and Chris and me and Danny work together and the kind of chemistry between the actors and the atmosphere that we create. And you can't just create that, that's an accident, that, you're either lucky and the actors work well together or you're unlucky and they don't, You can't create that kind of on-screen magnetism and chemistry. It's something, that takes time. That takes time. And they didn't realise that a large part of Red Dwarf is the characters in it and the way all our different idiosyncrasies and our different personalities and the way we relate to each other, and that kind of gives Red Dwarf a little bit more magic. And I think they missed out on that bit in the American one. I didn't think it was that well, sort of chemistry-wise. I don't think they had it. But that's no reflection on Robert Llewellyn, who I thought did a damn fine job.
Oh, that's very kind.
I think he's a lovely actor, a very fine man, a warm human being and a close friend. It was really bad because Robert was put in a really bad situation as well. And like, because we didn't know what was going on while we were filming, but Robert did. And they put Robert in that situation where, oh, you can't tell the rest of the cast, so it really fucked him up. And he's like, oh God, you know, I can't tell anyone. And, you know, so there was a lot of like duplicity and kind of, you know, underhanded sort of political machinations. But you know, it's in the past now. We lived to tell the tale. Yeah. Oh, that's how I feel anyway.
Do you know if Red Dwarf is being dubbed into any other languages and distributed in other countries?
I've seen myself dubbed into Spanish.
Spanish is the only one I know.
And the guy that uses a really effeminate guy with a really high-pitched voice. I can't do anything, but he does like Spanish with a really high-pitched voice, and my lips move after he's finished speaking, so it's all kind of quite camp, really.
I don't know of any other country other than Spain.
I thought it might be Japanese as well, I'm not sure.
I think it might be sort of.
So it's Spanish and Japanese. It'd be great to get a copy, actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Silence.
Here's a question.
Is Danny as much fun in person as he is on the show?
Yeah.
Yeah. If anything, he's more fun. He's completely bonkers, Danny, isn't he?
Danny John Jules is raving fucking mad.
Yeah.
He really is. He's a lovely, lovely man. It's like him.
He's a huge walking encyclopedia of virtually, utterly useless information. He knows to the cent what a ballet dancer or
Pavarotti guy, that guy doesn't get paid in money, he gets paid in gold bullion.
They just give him the keys to the bank, guy.
He can come out with more completely useless information than any other human being I've ever met.
It's brilliant though. Never a dull moment.
Then he forgets his lines.
Yeah.
I mean, Danny's really good. When we're doing a script read through, we're all going to go, and there's a long silence, and there's Danny going,
What's up, guy?
It's your line, Ben, it's your line.
Yeah? Ah, yeah.
But the thing about it is, he never blows it on the night, He never blows it on the night. But he's hell to rehearse.
Very funny.
He's hell to rehearse. But on the night, you just see the way the script is devised in a lot of ways. Like me and Crichton or me and Llewellyn will do the bulk of the work, you know. Then the cat will just come surfing in, hit it with a big woofer, and get off again, steal the scene, you know. It's like he does nowhere, gets all the glory. It's just like, yeah, he's good to work with. He's completely raving mad though. He's a dancer. That's why he's kind of mastered the way the cat moves.
He's a brilliant dancer.
I prefer the Cat in the Area series. The Cat's personality seems to have got lost a bit for me because, you know, in series 1 and 2, it was very much like a cat, you know, and he'd have a scent, oh, this is mine, oh, this is mine, except that bit. I don't want that bit. But this is mine, and this is mine. Hey, I've had a good day. I've eaten 6 times, and I've made a lot of things mine, you know. And it was like really catty of him. And that one where he goes, fish. 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 I love that one. And the one where he's eating the chicken, and he goes, and catches it. Too slow, chicken Marengo. Too slow for this cat. I love that. He's kind of become a bit more human and grown up now.
Yeah, Craig, what's your favorite kind of beer?
Free beer. I haven't got one really. I'm a whiskey drinker more. Just sharing that with you, you know. But yeah, I'll drink anything geezer once it gets to half past 10. I don't know why. It didn't do Keith Richards anymore.
Another question.
Have you read the scripts yet for Red Dwarf 6? We heard this rumor that Sylvester McCoy and Sylvie Elwood were going to be making appearances in Red Dwarf 6. No, nothing to that?
Yeah, definitely. They definitely signed up, I know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Nah, I doubt if they are going to be in. She's nice, Sophie, though, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really nice. I actually did a convention with them in Indianapolis with Sophie and Sylvester. It was good fun.
Oh, I haven't heard anything about that, Craig. What happened there?
Hey.
It's interesting, no one's mentioned Craig being in Indianapolis to me more than, what, 80 times today and 107 times
We turned the city, one of the most boring cities in the world, into a 24-hour rock zone. I had a really good time. I got kicked out of a nightclub as well.
There's a question here.
My friend asked me to ask you, she didn't want to ask in person, would you sing tongue-tied?
When I saw you for the first time, my heart began to quiver.
Thanks.
And I got a funny feeling in my kidneys and my liver. Don't you know you make me tongue-tied? No, I can't actually. That was very much a Daddy John Jules baby, because he's got a wicked voice, Danny, you know. And he's got dancing, it's all those crazy dancing. You wasn't involved.
No.
This is oh God, that was a day on hell, that was, man. Because you had this like slippy floor and these high heel shoes on. I don't know if you see it, a couple of times in the video I'm like all over the place and slipped and slided, it broke the ankles. But it was a good little dream sequence. I thought the guys were going to release that as a single at one stage, but
they didn't.
It didn't.
Question over here and then.
Hi, Captain.
Brigadier.
Brigadier. It's the Brigadier. It's the Brigadier, Craig.
There's me. Always getting my ranks wrong, bloody.
In the episode backwards, how much did they confine you as to what you could play around with the stuff that you were doing?
How much? Sorry. How much did you?
How much were they confining you as to how gross you could make some of the stuff?
Yeah.
We were confined by the script, of course, but, you know, we just tried to see what we could get away with and how, you know, there are some flaws in the story itself, the way that we can keep changing the way we either go through time or go backwards. So there are some kind of flaws in it, but
there were points we reached when we were making that where, you know, everyone would know the logic of it, wouldn't they? But everybody walking around, no, what happens, you see, if you've already eaten the pie, and then you've been sick, and then you've been smashed in the face by a... No, wait. No, you go into the pub and you've been beaten up, so no.
Yeah. So, anyway, we come to the pub and we've been beaten up, and
there were 70 people walking around all saying this, and we were just in the middle going, I don't know. You've had your tooth knocked out, but it gets sucked back onto your face by someone's fist.
I nearly died making that shot. I had to walk backwards into a river and submerge myself in water. I had all these weights. I'm sure they were trying to kill me thinking about it. I had all these lead weights in my pockets so that, you know, I'd stay under, so that I could pop back up again, because you get air bubbles in your clothes and you rise to the top. Sorry. So I submerged myself in the water and then started feeling my ankles digging themselves deeper into the mud. After about a minute, I could see the guys on top going, "You've been on there for a minute. We can have a problem situation."
I just remember something else. Last year when we were filming in a lake at night, which had underwater gas bottles blowing up huge 20-foot-high flames. It was in the Terraform. And we were punching through this lake, and it was really cold, and it was like 4 in the morning, and there was mist all over it. Craig wanted to light his cigarette. Remember that? So we were wobbling up towards it. It was like a flame that was like 20 feet high. So he said, "Hold on, guys!" His head disappeared into this flame, and everyone on the bank, they were screaming, "Get him out of here!" All these guys in diving suits going, it was insane.
Yeah.
We had no control over this boat. This boat just went wherever it wanted. You know? We were all paddling away.
That was funny, actually. You get a lot of safety Nazis on board, you know, all kind of like wanting to wrap you up in liniment and sort of make you go home after filming and things like that.
That was funny. No, we're all right. Is there any more questions?
I'd like to ask you a question, actually.
Oh, yes, please do.
Why are you so frighteningly handsome and sexy? Why? I mean, you know, why?
Well,
I'm sure share it with them.
That's a good question. It's a very good question, Craig.
Yeah.
And one, obviously, I get asked a great deal.
I think it's got a lot to do with the person inside, the visual exterior, the emotional and sexual maturity, the tremendous amount of sexual experience I've had with many, many, many different people, and many hundreds of thousands of gallons of body oil. Other than that, I really don't know. I think it's something to do with the spirit, the inner charm, and the fact that I'm a completely vain bastard, really.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Llewellyn, the world's most handsome guy. Actually, we made Robert wear a mask during filming because he was so frighteningly handsome, and we didn't want it, you know, to make me and Chris and Danny look bad. So one of the things in the contract was, because you're so super sexy, you have to wear a mask.
You mentioned chemistry between the actors earlier. How long on a new show, when you throw a new cast together, does it take for the actors to discover that you're going to click or not click, as the case might be?
It depends on the actors, doesn't it? And sometimes it's not going to click either, you know? Yeah. I've worked with people that I've hated, you know? I've worked with them and I've been like, you know, oh, you become the actor. Hello, lovey, how are you this morning? Oh, really? That's really interesting. You know, so sometimes it never clicks.
I think you can actually tell very early on. I mean, I think when I first joined the cast, I mean, I was really frightened. I was really scared. I was really under a lot of pressure. Craig was really nice to me. Chris was on the car phone all the time going, yeah, I'm going to go and do a voiceover at 3:30, and then I'm driving the Range Rover into town and I'm doing some shopping. No, it was, I mean, we sort of got on pretty quickly, and that was a great help.
Yeah, it does come in handy as well, because someone's throwing, oh dear. Oh, very, very sick. They've been warned. Thank you for sharing these with me. Anyone for lynching? Visual humour. Humour, not the right word, surely. Hey, give my regards to your launderer. Any more questions? Oh dear, it's all very sick. It's filled up now, Robert, now that we're leaving. Who's coming on after us? Is it someone big?
Someone big and what?
Oh, that's what's happening after us.
Oh, right. All the big boys are coming.
All the big boys. Colin Gallup are coming, so don't move.
Yes, we've got to go now. We've been thrown out. Thank you. Thank you very much for having us. Thank you. See you later.